What's up, PASA fam? My name is Gregory, and to end Filipinx American History Month up, I'm going to interview the person who's been a big help throughout the whole month of October, and she's right here, right now. It's Daisy! Woo! How are you, Daisy?
I'm good, thank you. I feel so honored to be here, oh my god.
Yeah, I just want to say we're very thankful that you've been helping like the Copos and myself and of course PASA for like helping this exhibit right here to happen. We discover a lot of things too, especially like from the timeline and all these old posters and flyers that we have right here. Yeah, what does it feel like to be involved in helping this exhibit happen?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to also engage in this work. I think cultural work and being proud of where we come from and who we are and sharing that with others is incredibly intimate and important, especially as a community, to share that out. And so thank you for your labor, your love, and for doing this and being so open. So I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But it's been an awesome experience. I'm a relatively new librarian, and so doing this type of work is not new to me, but it's new to me here at Cal Cities Bay. And so I've learned a lot in this process as well, of like how to engage and interact with student organizations, because I know y'all are super busy doing a million things, and somehow then it's been great that you've been able to allocate time to do this together. And so hopefully, I helped with like keeping things sort of in order, trying to facilitate access to the archives, thinking about like what's the goals and purpose of showcasing materials and exhibit spaces. And I think we've already thought of a lot of other projects that are going to come out from this, like our virtual book display.
Yeah.
And a virtual exhibition of the materials that we found for the display, and also that Randy Sabado provided. I have all these photographs that he left me. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is gold mine. But hopefully it's the beginnings of a larger digitization project where we can capture this history from not only current PASA members, but also from alumni. I think a lot can come out of the steps that we've already taken. Like
the archive room, I was like, wow, so this is where you keep all these like stuff here.
Some of it.
Well, some of it.
And hopefully more soon.
More soon. And I think it's great that there's like a room for that, so that way future historians and Copo can they have access to like old stuff, so we can like use it and to show that PASA has been around for a long time.
And it has had an impact on this campus. And I feel like we were barely starting the uncovering of what's represented in the archive, but there's definitely like newspapers that we still need to find more materials from. Randy pointed to a lot of other materials like flyers of past events, and some of the work that he wrote for the paper, and then also learning more about the local community would be awesome to integrate some of that, what was happening outside of Cal Cities Bay, the families, the communities that were related to the students that were here. And I know during its founding there was a lot going on in the Philippines as well, and so learning those larger connections in that context of PASA and its beginnings would be awesome. And I think we could potentially find more materials in the archive to hopefully continue developing the timeline and not have lost years.
Yeah. See right here? This is our timeline. Right here. Yeah. As you were saying?
And I mean, even on those first few hours that we spent looking at some of those archival boxes, and also just to back up a little bit, those boxes aren't necessarily like, oh, this is PASA materials, but it's like, oh, these are student org materials. And so we needed to scan a bunch of different texts and little things like, we found not a new president, but a name that wasn't recognized in the timeline, some past member photographs. I think like this was new actually. Julian Melendres was somebody new from 1976 that we were able to identify. But this was just like looking through paper and pages, and there's still more to explore. And hopefully more to uncover from alumni, right? Like that I think is its own larger project as well.
Honestly, I'm very thankful that I had a talk with Randy, because he told me a lot of information that was like missing from the timeline. So I'm like, wow, yeah, this is useful. I'm really happy to discover it and like add more important details and information into the timeline.
This is, valuable historical information, not only for the organization, but also, it's a way to connect to the past, to then build like, how do you want to see this club develop, and how, I think it allows you to dream and see a little bit more about what the future of this organization can be. And so it's very valuable. I love it. But I think next steps are digitizing what Randy has dropped off, locating more materials in the archive whenever you have time. I would love to sit down and do more exploring. And then make some of this available in an online virtual exhibition, because the exhibit itself, the one that's downstairs, this one, will go down. But we could have a new, different version of it next year during Filipinx History Month. We can have a panel. We can, now that we did like one step of it, next time it could be a lot bigger, and we can invite more folks in and get creative.
Like for the next whole school year?
Yeah.
There's
more.
That's for the next core. Yeah, but don't worry, we'll help you. Yeah.
I mean, you're as a historian, I'm like in awe. You've built on what other historians have done, and there's now documentation of about how to access materials in the archive.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is how you develop and grow and stuff. So very cool. Very, very, very impressed. I didn't know that Joanne was like, you had a
big little.
Yeah. And so just for context, Joanne works at the library as a library student ambassador, and she helped actually develop the book display and virtual display that corresponds with the exhibit of the 51st anniversary for PASA. And so it was just awesome to see those things come together.
Small world.
Yeah.
Small world.
Let's see. So are you going to be historian next semester, or is it?
Next semester, yeah.
Okay.
1 full year.
What do you want to accomplish? Like, what do you imagine seeing in this process of working in the archives? Like, what do you see as the next steps that you want to take?
Look for more missing information, like for the timeline. Also discovering like new old flyers and anything PASA related. Also, like for PCN, our story for for PCN this year is called 80s PASA, The Lost Archive. So basically, it was like the lost period, and thankfully, like one of our culturals like has connections to the 1980s. I think with this year's PCN, that would be very helpful.
Just find more sources.
And also alumni. Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting. Yeah. And so we could shift gears and try to really focus on those years if we go back into like looking for newspapers from that time. The lost period.
The lost period.
Cool. We haven't finished. We're still going. We still have spring semester. We have a new target to find more information on the lost years. And so I'm looking forward to working with you on this.
Me too. Me too.
Thank you.
Again, give it a round of applause for Daisy. Woo! Thank you, Daisy.